into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. And first of all, congratulations on that win and for aging all of us a few years. You look so calm on the sidelines, and I'm dying to know, are you actually calm? Are you really good at a poker face? Like, what is happening?
Poker face. I'm torn on the inside, but and on the sideline, I'm calm.
It's incredible. I feel like everyone out there does not know how you maintain that while we're all freaking out. So take us through those final drives at the end for those 2 touchdowns and what you feel like really worked so well and put you guys in that position.
Well, defensively, we got the ball back. Offensively, they went down the field and got the first score. They punted it back. They got the ball. We kicked back to them, and we got 3 and out. Carl got a big sack on 2nd down. Keanu made a great play on 3rd down. They got to punt the ball again. And Tom was locked in. Everybody was on the same page, and they were making some great catches. Scotty's catch was big. Julio's catch was big. Everybody made a great catch.
I feel like game management is, of course, one of the big things about being a head coach, and that to me just seems like it would be so stressful because there's almost too much information to go on these days, especially with analytics and then your gut feeling and all of your football experience. And so first of all, just the 2 decisions to punt, what went into that? And just for you, when it is time to make some of those big decisions, what all goes through your mind and the different factors that you have at play to help you make that decision?
Time on the clock, timeouts, how the offense and defense are playing, just seeing where we are on the field. If we punt the first time, I think they were already in field goal range. If we don't get the first down, it goes to 19 points to 3. Then we're 2.5 scores down. There's not enough time on the clock to get that. So with 2 scores down, we had like 6.5 minutes left, maybe 7:03. I don't know what the time was, but we had enough time if we went 3 and out to get the ball back, go down the field, to get the ball back again with all our 3 timeouts. And luckily they saved us 1, and we got the ball back pretty good because they only used up about 30 seconds, 32 seconds, and we got the ball back. And they went down the field. So everything and anything goes through your head at that point in time.
And I mean, the final drives in particular, Tom Brady now 44th career 4th quarter comeback, breaking his tie with Peyton Manning for the most in NFL history. And we all know that Brady is good at this. Now that you've really gotten to be a part of it and witnessing it, what are the things that make him so good at it, and why is it maybe even harder than we realize to make those things happen?
Well, he's decisive. He understands where he has to go. He understands what he has to do. I've been a part of it, mostly on the other side, but having to be on the plus side of it, it locks in. It creates more urgency than we already have. It's just something that he has a knack for. You can't explain what the great ones do when it's crunch time. A lot of people can throw touchdowns 1 through 3 quarters, and then the 4th quarter, the last 3 minutes of the ball game, I hadn't seen anything like it.
The last couple of games against the Saints, particularly at home, not a lot of points the Buccaneers had scored in those matchups. And then 2 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes. What do we feel like we can take away from this? I mean, are we just going to need to ask the clock people to just constantly put 2 minutes on the clock over and over? Is that going to be helpful?
Hopefully it doesn't come to that. I think it was a great team win. I think it inspired everybody because it was a great team win. Offense had a hand in it. Defense had a hand in it. Special teams, to a degree, had a hand in it. And showed us that we can still play together. We just have to play with more consistency. The consistency's got to be there, but we can turn it up and close out a ball game on defense, and we can score touchdowns on offense. So that gives you hope. You just want to know the previous 50 minutes you want to play the same way. You don't want to have it come down to this all the time. So hopefully we go out to the West Coast this week, and that's the case.
I know that you always want to sweep your division opponents. That's always the goal. But when it is the Saints in particular, with the history of these 2 teams, how important do you feel like this is to what this team just needs to know about itself or needs to accomplish, separate from just what we know it means in terms of at the end of the season in the standings?
It's huge because they dominated us the past couple of years we've been here. Even when we won the Super Bowl, they swept the season series. We beat them in the playoffs, but beating them twice, I think it was the first time in 15 years, and they're a tough bunch. They got a lot of great players on their team. Hats off to them. Beating them at our place and then beating them at their place, that says a lot about the guys. If you can win your division, your chances increase of going to the playoffs if you can win all the games in your division.
And we knew offensive line, man, only having one guy from your Super Bowl starting group out there, and Josh Wells having to step in for Tristan Wirfs. What did you think of specifically Josh Wells in that role, and then the offensive line overall going against an incredibly difficult defensive front?
I thought Josh was very scrappy. You know, Cam's a great player. He made his plays. He made some plays. Josh got in the way a lot and made some plays as well. He blocked decent in the run game. He got in the way just enough in the pass game. Wasn't fundamentally sound, but he played well. Offensive line-wise overall, we can make a block or two. We got to stop the holding penalties, obviously. We can make a block or two where we can get guys going in the run game. We had some runs that we could have got out of there. We got to be more consistent and more diligent in finishing blocks and holding them a second longer. That's got to be a big deal going forward. It has been a big deal all year, and protecting the quarterback, it's got to be a big deal in the run game as well if we want to go further.
And what did you see from both Leonard and Rashad, and the way you decided to use them, knowing I know that Leonard had had that injury lately, and just kind of the decision of how you used each of them and what you saw from each of them?
I thought it was a good 1-2 punch. You know, Leonard came in and did an outstanding job. I think he's one of the most unsung players of that game yesterday. He ran it well. He caught the ball well. He got upfield. He got some timely yardage when he just caught 3-yard passes and turned up and got 8, got 9, made it 3rd and short. He was part of the reason we were decent on 3rd down. Rashad played well, and he gave up the fumble, obviously, but it didn't get him down. He came back. He got the touchdown. He got the winning touchdown, and you know that showed a lot about his character as well.
Yeah, and as a rookie in particular, to have that kind of bounce back, and thinking about the fact that these 2 clutch touchdowns both went to rookies, and I think about especially running back and tight end can be positions that are challenging for a rookie to step in at and play really high level. What have you seen from both Rashad and Cade about the way they are playing as rookies that doesn't seem like they're rookies?
If they're in the game at that point in time, they're not rookies anymore. That means we trust them. That means they've done their homework. They do everything right in practice, and they're ready to play the game, and it's not too big for them. So we don't call them rookies anymore after 12 weeks. So they're veterans, and they made the plays they were supposed to make. But both have good hands, and both have good smarts and toughness.
All right, well, we have more coming up on the Todd Bowles Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. So for you guys, I know defensively holding their running game, I mean, that's always important no matter who it is, but when they've got the Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara group, and you know that Kamara in particular is just such a huge percentage of their offense, to know you held them to 27 and 26 yards rushing. What worked so well on that side of things for you guys?
Oh, Vita and Akeem Hicks. You know, we got 2 big guys in the middle. We got the fast guys off the ball. I thought Carl did a great job holding the edge. He was one of the guys. There were a bunch of guys. Nacho and Will were involved as well, but not just those 2, but Taysom Hill. You know, he runs the ball quite a bit for them. He's a viable part of their running game. Not to let him loose and get a 30 to 50-yard run was very important for us. I thought those guys did a great job.
And then I know also just holding them to 5 of 14 on 3rd down and 0 of 3 in the red zone, the situational stuff. And it was on both sides of the ball that just situationally, offensively and defensively for you guys, things seemed to be a lot better than maybe in recent games. What did you see that went well there?
It was big defensively. I thought we were lacking in that area. I think we worked at it. They came along in this game. Hopefully it continues. But for them to go 0 for 3 and get the field goals helped us get the win offensively. Albeit at the end of the ball game, we executed well and we got in the end zone. You know, and that's 7 points instead of 3. We'll take that every time.
I know that you did have several members of the secondary injured, which just seems to somehow always be this theme of what we have to talk about over here. You're like, why can't it just be easy, you know? So tell me, first of all, just about the play, the guys like Zion McCollum and Keanu Neal that stepped in for them and what you saw there. But then also I know that some of the bigger pass plays given up than what you'd like. You know, there's a 40-yarder, a 30, a 26, and that's definitely not the big gains you want to allow. So what did you see from that group overall, and then what led to some of those bigger gains?
There were 2 plays in particular. One of them just a mental foobar. The other one we had a busting coverage and it took too much time. We didn't get to the quarterback. But other than that, I thought Zion played man well. Obviously he missed a few tackles, but for him not to have played nickel since the summer, I think he did an admirable job, at least of competing in there. Some things he has to learn, but we understand that. I thought Carlton and Dean on the outside, for the most part, tried to prevent the big play. Olave didn't really go off on us like he had been. He's turned into a great receiver early in his career. and we held them down too much. But I think the most part, we got to get a better pass rush. We got to get a better pass rush, but they fought hard. You know, they were keeping everybody in max protecting. We just got to find ways of getting to the quarterback.
And Keanu Neal in particular is a guy that we know he can deliver a hit. I'm sure that that's something about him that, as a former safety yourself, you really enjoy. And for him, the play that in particular kept Taysom Hill from converting at the very end of the game that could have ended the game, what did you see from him in that? And I know he maybe had missed a play or so earlier in the game, but to see the way he recovered in a play like that in a big moment as well.
He was locked in. You know, he was locked in the entire game. He played faster. He really played a good ball game. Maybe one error here and there, but he played a very good ball game. He played a physical ball game. He made us physical up front, even in stopping the run. So the play he made at the end of the ball game was great for him to see. It was great for him to see.
And Levante David got a sack, not always the stat that he is most known for, but tell me about that play and then just what it says about him that he really can just produce stats all over the field.
Well, we knew Devin blitzed a lot, and Levante hardly goes, and we wanted to make it so that we made an overload look like they were going from one side, and we figured they let Levante go because he always pulls out of it, and we got one through there. He got a freebie, so but he played a smart ball game. He played a heady ball game. I thought their zone coverage was very good. Him and Devin passing off crossing routes and everything else, and you know, he's one of our leaders along with Devin and Vito on defense, and they willed us to victory on that side of the ball.
And I know Logan Ryan was able to get activated off of injured reserve this last week. What does having him back mean to this defense?
Well, you gain a lot of communication. You know, he can make plays, no doubt about it, but the communication of understanding what's coming is very important when you have somebody out there that knows it all and that can tell you and give you constant tips and reminders every single play without the coaches doing it. So that was huge for Zion. That was huge for the secondary back there.
All right, well, we still have more coming up here on the Todd Bowles Show, including looking ahead to next week's game. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles, and I wanted to give you a chance to talk about your shoes that you were able to wear for the game. It was the My Cause, My Cleats game. Always a fun one to be able to win, to be even more excited to talk about all of it. So tell us about what cause you had on your shoes and why it's so important to you.
My shoes had Autism Speaks, and Autism Speaks is big because my youngest son has autism, Tyson, and had his name on one shoe, had Autism Speaks on the other, and gave it to him after the game, actually. Gave him my shoes, and he was very happy about that. And it's a big thing because it brings awareness to people who don't know about autism or understand what they're looking for when they see autism. I don't think it's spread around enough for people to understand what kids go through having autism and not looking normal and not being normal, so to speak, for the most part. And you know, sometimes they're so repetitive and do things that you have to step back and take a look before you try to judge them, so to speak. So it was big for me to have him on my shoes.
That is so cool, and to hear how excited he was about that. And for you as a especially a head coach now, but just being a coach for so long, what do you love about the ways that it gives you these platforms or opportunities, the things that being a coach has meant to you in terms of for either your family or life and the opportunities that you've had because of it?
I think it's huge because you get a part of your personal life you get to showcase and have people see certain things that you're invested in or that you care about that they may not know about as a player or a coach. And it makes you step back and think and sit and wonder. You know, coaches and players are people too, so to have this type of platform to put something on your shoes about something that's dear to your heart or very close to you, even that you just care about, I think has been important, and the league is trying to open up and do a lot more things for that, for everybody to do, so I think it's very good.
How do you feel like coaching has influenced maybe who you are as a person as well, or who you are as a person affected your coaching? Which direction do you think it's been more of? We're getting philosophical, you know?
Yeah, I know. Coaching has made me closer to a Samuel Jackson movie. as far
do we need to get the bleeps ready before if you're going to quote
no,
it? No one did Samuel L. Jackson.
I'm not going to quote him right now.
Okay, great.
But
I mean, I would love that. We can get the bleeps ready.
It gets me. I don't know whether it's coaching or watching enough Samuel Jackson movies, but it helps you unwind more at home. It helps you get away from the game when you're off work. It gave me discipline when I was young. It gave me structure when I was young. It gives you camaraderie when you're around the team. It's competitiveness all the way around. It's something that you constantly have to prove yourself every day, and there's no gray area. You win or you lose, and you have to keep getting up every day to battle.
So I know that you've been in coaching for a long time. You had been a head coach before, but how about this head coaching stint in particular? Is there something that you feel like it has taught you or that you've learned from it, ways you've had to grow since starting here? How, maybe even just now that you're far enough into the season, are there ways that you feel like it's already influenced you or you've had to grow or change in some way?
I think it's taught me the second time around to really sit and try to teach the coaches in certain ways, in your own way. You know, Bruce did it in his way, which was very good. I have to do it in my way. It's more important that you teach the coaches how to coach the players and see certain things from an outside point of view. I think I have a broader view than the first time when I had a head coach and this. Now it's kind of step back and everything I can see so easily right now. So that helps me become a better coach.
I love it. All right, we have one more segment coming up here on the Todd Bowles Show. We're going to look ahead to that game next week. We'll be right back. It's time for our final segment here on the Todd Bowles Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Todd Bowles. All right, so 49ers, and man, it's a different matchup than it looked like it was going to be a week ago, especially on their offensive side, our defensive side. So tell us about how this QB change is going to affect some of the ways that you guys look at preparing and the way that you guys try to do things.
I don't think it changes us from preparing for them at all. The system is the system. Kyle does a great job with whoever's in that quarterback of executing and making sure everything works. They have a lot of talented receivers around them, running back, McCaffrey as well. The offensive line is huge. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play action. You can't forget about Kittles and Debo, Ayuk. Obviously, they got a lot of weapons, and they have the #1 defense in the league. So this is going to be a big test for us going all the way out to the West Coast, especially since we only scored the last 2 minutes of the ball game. Going out there against a defense that doesn't give up many points at all and actually shut the Saints out a week ago. And the offense that runs the ball well and throws the ball well. And the biggest thing about them, they have more yak yards than everybody in the league. So this is going to be important not to miss many tackles.
Yeah, and you mentioned the idea of having to go all the way out there, and it's already a short week where you play on Monday night, so already you're a day late into that, and then now I know you guys are heading out there on Friday. So how does that change things for the whole schedule of the team of how you handle practices, but then also for you guys as coaches, the way that you have to prepare?
Well, we'll see how many people are nicked up. Obviously, it's similar to the Germany week. You know, we're going out on a short week. We're going out with a couple days rest. And we went out on a Thursday, I think, after playing on a Sunday. So we're treating it like that a little bit. Practice-wise, we may scale back some on Wednesday, but we should be able to get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as normal from a practice standpoint. Coaches, Tuesday is a grind. It's going to be an all-day grind as well as Wednesday. But we understand that, and we know what we have to do.
You brought up Debo Samuel, and you just talked about how with the Saints, a guy like Taysom Hill, where he can do so many different things, the way that throws a wrinkle into it, and Debo feels, not quite to the quarterback level of Taysom Hill, but another guy that can just be so many different things and do so much. How does that challenge a defense like what you guys have? What are some of the things that a guy like him specifically can bring that are challenging?
Yeah, he doesn't do things Taysom can do, but he does things McCaffrey can do. Mm-hmm. They're interchangeable that way. McCaffrey can play wide out, he can play running back, and vice versa. So that causes problems because when they put him back there and you have to put a linebacker on him or a DB on him, if the DB's on him, they can run at him. If the linebacker's on him, they can throw at him. So they cause a lot of problems and mismatches, as well as the fullback. The fullback does a great job doing everything for them. So they have a lot of versatile pieces that they make interchangeable. That makes them very dangerous.
What would you say is going to be, if you had to pick one key on each side of the ball for a victory, what do you think it would be?
They have a great pass defense. They have great pass rushers. Got to be able to run the ball and stay on the field on third down on offense. Defensively, it's the yak yards. It's the run after catch. We got to limit the run after catch. If they get run after catch, it's going to be a long day.
And then finally for you guys, just what does this next game mean in terms of when you now are still 500, sitting at the top of your division. To get another one in a row, what do you feel like the most important part of this next week's game would mean for your team moving forward?
Well, just another victory, try to separate ourselves. It gets us over 500. More importantly, it keeps us in first place. You know, if we win 5 games and win out, we get in. We have to understand that, and we control our own destiny, and we got to make sure we take care of that.
Well, Coach, thank you as always for your time, and congratulations again on a big win.
Thank you.